All right, so today we are going to transfer those cuttings. Most of them are succulents. Actually, they're all succulents. And put them into pots on a budget. Why spend a ton of money when you can do this on the cheap? I'll show you how. Stay tuned. Here's the intro to my channel. A lot of car things, a lot of plant things. I'm a DIY specialist. I usually run into some issues when I work on these projects, and I do a little bit of everything. So sit back and enjoy. It's obviously too cold to be outside playing with these cars, so I'm inside playing with my plants. Enjoy. All right, here we go. Here's the unboxing. So you want to know how you can grow your garden, your indoor garden on a budget? Ask people for plants. Stop buying plants. There's no need to buy plants. Ask people for cuttings. You'd be surprised how quickly you can grow your indoor garden by asking people for cuttings. And you know what's even better? When you ask people for cuttings, you have a story. It's not I went to a big box store and I bought this plant. It's like, no, I got this cutting from XY person and I grew this plant and then I gave this person and that person cuttings from. It's all about the story. Did I say it? I'm gonna say it again. It's all about the story. All right, so here we go. This is a package I received with my cuttings, and what we're going to do is we're going to plant them. And as we plant them, I'll give you the formal name of these cuttings. Names I honestly didn't even know prior to doing this research and putting together this video. So we're going to learn something today, as well as be entertained. And yeah, I got a lot of cuttings. I didn't expect this many cuttings. I thought maybe I would get 4 or 3. But yeah, it's more than I expected. So I had to pull all of my recycled containers. I purchased high-end clay pots for about $4. I think the pot itself is $2, and the tray underneath the pot was $1 and change. So they have $4 pots. I decided to spend the money on pots this time, so I could possibly give these away as gifts. As you look at some of my videos, you'll see pots that are recycled, buckets, milk containers, gallon milk containers, cut in half or cut the bottom third off. It's a lot going on. So yeah, I decided to spend the money and put together some nice pots and plants, because yes, I want to give these away, but on a budget. Here, you recycle your pots. As you move pots from one size up to the next, as the roots start to grow, you never throw out a pot. You clean it out, you sanitize it, and you put it away. You will use it again. So here we are, filling these pots with some soil, some fresh soil. And I think I'm going to fill up about 4 pots, and you can see the cuttings on the table, well preserved. I mean, as a cactus, they don't need a ton of water. And actually, as a cutting, you'd either want to start rooting them, or you want it to kind of scab over. If it scabs over, then you can kind of repot it, and that's probably the best way also. All right, so here we go. Adding some more soil. As you can tell, I've committed to providing a voiceover for this entire 15-minute video. I probably should speed it up, but for those who are not familiar with how to plant cuttings, I figured I would just slow it down, adjust the camera. I guess I should be wearing some gloves. I don't like dirt underneath my nails. will definitely wear some gloves. All right, and here's my first one. This is simple. This is a Christmas cactus that actually has some roots on it already. So I am going to pull out my favorite rock wool. I'm going to open it up just till I get to the middle. I'm going to set my Christmas cactus kind of halfway down inside. And then I'm going to bury that in soil. It's almost like sitting a root in water. Sitting a plant in water to help the roots grow. Yeah, if I'm going to do this whole thing for 20 minutes, I am not going to stop and clean it up. I'm going to give you exactly what comes out. And yeah, so then just kind of tamp it down a little bit. Very good. That looks pretty nice. Oh man, pet peeve. Please center your plant in the pots. There's a few things more annoying than having plants off center in the pots, like not having them labeled. But yeah, just take the time to do it right. Worst case scenario is you could always pull it back out and move it around and center it. And I love my clay pebbles or leca because it provides protection to the soil from bugs that like to lay eggs. And it gives it almost like a desert decoration. I do like that. And when you're planting plants like seedlings, it helps prop the plant up. It helps stand it up. Oh, here we go. We are moving to what everyone. Oh, look at the roots on that. Shout out to my plant donor. My plant donor took care of me this time. This looks really good. Roots. What is this called? Sanseviera snake plant. Yeah, you try saying that 3 times. We all call it snake plant, but yes, there's a formal name for it. So I make a little hole with my hands with no gloves and push the snake plant down, tamp the soil around the plant to kind of help it stand up. But I'm not too concerned. I'm going to give it a little bit of water and then add the clay pebbles around it, and the clay pebbles will help the snake plant stand up. Now, unless you plan to add more plants to this pot, please center the plant. There you go. Give it some love water. Sometimes when you water a newly planted plant, it'll fall over. So again, clay pebbles will help with that. And if you haven't noticed, that is not a work table. That is my pool table. And I have a thick sheet of plastic on top. So I decided to put this pot, put a tray underneath this plant so it doesn't make a huge mess. Adding my clay pebbles. I can't believe the clay pebbles. So bag of clay pebbles is available usually, I'm going to say, on Amazon. It's not something you would readily find in your big box stores. And this succulent is called Euphorbia trigona, African milk tree. I never knew that. That is so cool. So this one had a little scab on the bottom. So I put it far enough down, whereas this might be maybe an inch and a half down, so it'll kind of stand up on its own, even after giving it some water. After giving it some water, it should be able to, standing up on its own. I'll put my dollar and change clay pot cover underneath there. Add some more clay pebbles. Oh, by the way, I love the can for the pebbles. I love having a can for soil, a can for pebbles. Need a tin can. All right, here we go. This is like an assembly line. You can see I'm losing my patience. 2022. I have to work on my patience. Next, we have the Epiphyllum Orchid Cactus. It took a minute for me to figure out which way was up with this cactus. Especially for the plants that did not have an established root and it just scabbed over. It took a while, but here we go. And I actually have a few cuttings, so now I'm getting creative. All right, so how about, and all I have to do is kind of feel down below the clay pebbles. How about if I put this on one side and combine the two? Oh, now I'm taking it to a new level. This was not the plan, but truthfully, I had so many cuttings and I didn't have enough pots, and I wasn't buying any more pots. So let's just move some of these cuttings together and create this succulent surprise of plants. There we go. So you kind of get the gist of how this is done. Yeah, cactus doesn't like water. Like after I give it the water today, I'll probably go maybe 2 weeks before giving it some more water. Yeah, they obviously, it's a cactus. Grows in the desert. Does not like water. And if you watch some of my other videos, you'll see I have a grouping of aloe plants that are not doing well. And just to put things in context, I moved one aloe from underneath the grow light and I just put it in another part of the home, and it doesn't get direct light. And man, that plant is thriving. I have new seedlings popping up, bright green. Like, it loves the fact that it's not getting a lot of light and it's definitely not getting a lot of water. So I think that's part of the fun, like understanding what your plants like and then figuring out how to support whatever your plants like and continue giving it the support. Yeah, so now I'm getting really fancy. I'm going to have one succulent facing one direction, the other succulent facing the other direction, and you can see how these things are just fighting me. They just don't want to stand. All right. Oh, what am I doing? All right, so let's add some soil on top. Let's tamp it down a little bit, enough that it will stand. And it's not standing. This one's gonna fight me. So what'll happen is, especially with like the snake plant, it's going to grow quickly. It's going to outgrow that pot. We are going to separate and put them in other pots. And that is the perfect time for you to give some plants to someone, who also enjoys indoor plants. Like, you can swap plants, and it's all about the story. No need to buy plants. No need to buy these containers. I'm going to put out a short that I needed it was a 1 gallon pot and I needed a tray to go underneath it. And I used a milk container. I just cut it. Milk container was already spray painted black for another one of my projects. Here we go. So if you're new to the channel, it's called Projects and Problems because I take on projects. I don't shy away from many projects, and most of the time, it's not really much of a huge problem. I am faced now with one challenge problem that I'm working on for another project. Hence, I haven't put out a video, but I think I'm just going to put the video out to show what the problem is because it's a pretty big one. Yeah, I've been going through it now for a couple of months. Here we go. And this is a Crassula Jade plant. I didn't know that. I mean, it looks like a rubber plant, a rubber tree. I could just kind of stand it right there. I'll probably just add some soil to that and then put some clay pebbles right on top of that, tamp it down. And when I add my clay pebbles, you can see I like to have it about maybe a ½ inch from the rim. I don't like to stack the clay pebbles up to the top of the rim. I don't like to have it too far down. That's the way I like to have them in all the plants. Looks like I've mastered the 2-finger tamp. Give it a drink. Drink. It's the last time you're going to see a drink in a couple of weeks. Nice. Where's the clay pebbles? I'm like an assembly line. You gotta have this stuff nearby. You can't walk halfway across the room to grab your clay pebbles, walk halfway across the room to keep getting some water. Oh no, you have to have all your tools handy. That's how you get through these projects. And then I realized I've got so many other cuttings. So what am I gonna do? So normally I would just stop the video because I like my videos less than 20 minutes. But in this case, I'm going to use rock wool, and I'm going to put a cutting in rock wool, and then I'm going to use a storage container that you would put food in, and doesn't have any holes in that container. And I am going to fill up that container with some soil and rock wool. I might be doing something special to that one. We'll find out soon. So I usually record these videos, and maybe 2 days later or a day later, I'm going back through it and I'm editing it, making it shorter, and put a voiceover on top. So sometimes I forget actually what I did. Like I abandoned the storage container and I went to a pot. Oh, that one looks nice. So when you add these cuttings to the rock wool, you kind of put it about halfway down, just enough so the rock wool is stable. Not the rock wool, just enough so the plant is stable in the rock wool, and that's really all you need. I don't know. Is my eye deceiving me, or that's not centered? Is this gonna bother me? Am I gonna dig this plant up again? Here we go. Let's add some clay pebbles. That's how we do it. And you'd be surprised how quickly you can grow your indoor garden. Very nice. What I need to do now is to go to some discount stores and find some exterior pots so they could just drop those reusable black nursery pots in. Here we go. Sizing it up. Now what you guys don't realize is in between all planting these cuttings is usually about a minute of me looking around trying to figure out what am I gonna do next. So you're welcome for cutting that out. Here we go. Let's add some soil. That is the storage container that I was talking about, the food container. Here I am with the rock wool. Setting it about halfway. That's got a little root on it. Very nice. Alright, let's set that in the soil. Looks good. Tamp it down with your fingers a little bit. Nice. You want the soil to be even with the top of the rock wool. Good. Alright, let's put some pebbles on top. Not fruity pebbles. Clay pebbles. Looks good. Again, this does not have any drainage holes, but I don't expect this succulent to need a ton of water. And there she goes. All done. This is my finished product. You can see the store-bought containers to the right. You could see my recycled containers to the left. You could see my jar, my mason jar container. And basically, that's how you propagate succulents. That's how you transfer succulents on a budget. You do it simply. You trade. You ask for plants. That's the best way to do it. Stop buying plants. All right. I'll see you all in the next video.